Hi. My name is Kishore. I'm CEO of a software product company out of Bangalore. And I'm here to be the anchor. I'm not going to say much of value. Hopefully I'll make you guys laugh, but beyond that I can't do much. The real value proposition of today's conversation comes from Sunil and Raman. People have done lots of stuff. I'll first let them talk about themselves and then come back to what we're going to do.
Kishore, thank you for the delegation and good afternoon, friends. My name is Sunil Kunte. I'm an electrical engineer from IT Madras. That was 31 years back. 2 jobs in 3 decades. I spent a couple of decades with a third-party service provider called Lensa Technologies, and for the last close to 8 years with Fidelity, which is an American company in the mutual fund business.
Thanks, Kishore, and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nasscom Raman. I've been in the IT industry for over 30 years, and the last 2 decades, or starting mid-80s, I've been associated with a company which was called Nasscom Information Technology to start with, and then we rebranded it as iFlex Solutions Limited. Probably some of you would have heard about it. And then we rebranded it yet again when Oracle took majority stake in the company in the year 2005. So we kind of went on an uncharted territory in the Indian IT industry by creating the first sort of world-class core banking product coming out of India, and we did extremely well with our strategy. So I've been there with the company since inception, and I got out of it from a CEO position starting this year, and I'm doing some interesting stuff again, trying to recreate the iFlex story by investing in small startup companies in Bangalore and Mumbai.
And hopefully Mysore soon. Right? Everybody wants that, right?
Thank you.
So the conversation here, the objective here is to work out some of the details of what we call a value proposition. Right? What is a value proposition? I know there's a lot of conversation about Mysore, so somewhere along the line we're going to ask, what is the value proposition that Mysore brings, right, to different kinds of people? So first what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk around the audience and try and get half a dozen value propositions that you guys state. We're going to put them on the wall here, okay? And then we're going to come back and talk through some of the issues about value proposition definition and how, what implications it has on different parts of the ecosystem, employees, etc., right? And then we'll go back and shoot holes at those 6 things. Okay? That's the idea. So, who wants to go first? I want to hear what you consider is a value proposition for a company that you would start or run. Yes.
Availability of talent pool of fresh graduates and from premier institutions.
Okay. Okay. Availability of a talent pool, fresh graduates from premier institutions. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that would be your value proposition. Okay. Back there.
Delivery system.
Delivery system. Okay. Delivery system.
Stress-free life for you and your employees.
Stress-free life for you and your employees. Are you a recruiter? No? Okay. Quality of life. Stress-free life. Whatever.
Ethical way.
Provide services.
I'm sorry, just a second.
Ethical way of doing business.
Ethical way of doing business. Somebody said something.
Provide services faster, better, cheaper.
Provide services faster, better, cheaper. I have space for one more. Yes. I'm sorry? No traffic jams. Mysore, huh? Or networking, maybe.
A better place to live.
A better place to live. We're getting more and more about Mysore. Or about other companies.
I'm talking about myself.
Okay, sounds good. So you got no traffic jams?
I'll just add what I've observed, lower aspirations of people to be very successful in life.
That's a value proposition? Boom! Lower aspirations of people to be very successful in life. This is the value proposition. I'm going to leave that out. I'm sorry.
Satya,
Yes.
in the stakeholders to you even?
That's interesting. Maintain integrity with all stakeholders. Okay? I'm going to stop there because we've hit more than 6, but also because you brought up an interesting connotation here. What do you mean, all the stakeholders? That means that you have a value proposition that speaks differently to different kinds of people, and maybe over time. So what we're going to do is I'm going to hand over the mic to Sunil and Raman to talk through what are these domains, right? What are these domains that you need to worry about when you're defining a value proposition, and what implications do you have? You want to start?
Sure, thanks, Kishore. And some very, very interesting comments that came from the audience. All very good. And in particular, I just want to compliment 2 individuals because both use a lovely word called integrity, or in one case, ethical standards. And that is great. It's very refreshing to hear that. And for me personally, I work for a company, Fidelity Investments. The value proposition we have for our customers as one of the stakeholders in the whole ecosystem is a 5-letter word called trust. After children, the next thing that's closest to people's heart is their wallet and money. And you only part with your money to someone that you can trust. So I just thought I'd like that. I like that. So when you think of a value proposition, let's look at a customer. It has to basically solve either one of the 2 problems for a customer. One is it should be savings in cost, or the second, in my view, is image. And if it doesn't qualify for these 2, and if it's not unique vis-a-vis competitors, then you're one of the pack, and you therefore cannot create what's called market share for yourself or the company. So I think there's some very interesting definitions that came there. All I'll say is that really, what does it mean for the customer in all this is said? That's my initial comments.
Okay. So taking on from where Sunil is led, he talked about trust, and we also do pretty much the same. We actually, in iFlex Solutions, we used to tell the banks to trust their money and their investments with us.
From here?
Yeah, can you hear me now? Yeah, okay. So I'll just relate from my experience at iFlex Solutions. So the first and foremost thing for any business is to really articulate very clearly what the value proposition to the customer is. And we will come to the other stakeholders. There are partners, there are employees, there are investors, and so on and so forth. But if anybody asks you what your value proposition is, that's the first and foremost that comes to my mind, which you need to really think very hard in each one of your business. Doesn't matter small, big, whatever. So when we started out in late 80s, some of us had the good fortune of working with many banks throughout the world, large banks, small banks, Deutsche Bank, Citibank, and so on and so forth. And what we figured out was that each of these banks were global. They were operating in multiple countries, in different regions, Asia, Europe, and all Africa, and so on and so forth. And whenever they used to go into a new country, what they used to do was that, set up the whole infrastructure for their business, and technology was a very key part of the whole thing. So they would want a core banking platform, and they would take whatever their parent organization would give, which was like a legacy system running on mainframe, very hard to maintain kind of, but they would get a platform, then they would do 1 year, 18 months of, hard work in tweaking that to support the local products. So in India, for example, you would have to support recurring deposits and agricultural loan and, whole sort of reporting, RBI reporting, interface to local clearing and so on and so forth. So you do all of that work and then you set it operational. And then when you start another country in Asia region, you would take this version that is running in India because that is closest, and then again you would do further work on that. Now in the process, we realized that most of these global banks, multinational banks, ended up with 50, 60 versions of core banking platform that was running their operations globally. And we said that this need not continue. Why can't we have a single operating platform that can run all their operations globally, but by setting up the right kind of parameters and other way of architecting the solution, we can bring in tremendous value to the customers, which are banks. Our focus was basically banks and financial institutions. So that's how we sort of, that was the first problem that we tried to address. Problem number two, you look at it from the bank's customers. Banks had global customers like Unilevers, like Boeing, and IBMs, and so on and so forth. Now the customers were demanding their banks that, hey, we need a consistent user experience. We need a consistent way of looking at financial statements. We need consolidation. We need global treasury management, cash management, and so on and so forth. And with this 50, 60 platforms running, though it was Citibank or Deutsche Bank, in each country it was like dealing with a different bank. So that was problem number two. And so we brought out a flexible package, which we branded as FlexQ, that really addresses two key core problems. So we put in one operating platform that could run the international operations of these banks in 50 countries, thereby retiring all those different versions that are running on mainframe and all of that stuff. And then also enabling their customers to have a global view, consolidated view of their financials. And in the process, what we did, most of the banks, they didn't have to actually get approval for investment in this project, because by retiring all this 59 mainframe system, that self-funded the deployment and procurement of a package like FlexQ, which was modern, legacy on open platform, Unix, Oracle database, and so on and so forth. They could future-proof their IT infrastructure, platform, architecture, and all that stuff. And also they saved tons of money every year on year, on the project. So this is the unique value proposition that we could articulate, and it resonated very well with the customer. You didn't have to do any selling. Obviously, all this had to be backed by flawless execution, and that's a very difficult job. Sitting out here, in fact, nobody gave us a chance. You talk of creating a software product. People say it can come from SAP in Germany or Oracle's of old or Microsoft, but you can't do it sitting in India. But we successfully created that. We showed that we can do it. So that is the unique. So that is a value proposition that we could deliver to our customers, and sort of it worked for us. I'm sure it'll work for all of your businesses as well.
So that's a great point, Raman. And I was going to say that I would take a simple example of a cell phone. I saw some of the folks in the audience with a cell phone. So now this is an ordinary cell phone. It's not an iPhone. It's not fancy. And but there's something unique about this particular cell phone that actually fulfills my need as a customer. Any idea what it is? Sorry?
Dual SIM.
Sorry?
Dual SIM.
Dual SIM, absolutely. It is the only one I could find in the market, this was 3 years back, that could accommodate 2 SIM cards at the cost of a cell phone that could have 1 SIM card. So my need was, I didn't want to carry two cell phones because I had an office phone and had a personal phone, didn't want to confuse it. And this particular company, I don't name the company, no price, guessing which one it is, actually offered a unique product that fulfilled my unique need. So you've got to look at a customer's point of view.
Sure, if I may just quickly add, there are a whole host of the next generation companies, and we meet them very often in Nasscom forums, and I meet several of them in wherever I go. I mean, brilliant stuff they're doing, and I'm sure many of them will go on to become very successful companies. And if I just take some examples of that, I don't know whether you people have come across a company called INOS or INOS, whatever,
SMS Gyan.
The SMS Gyan is a product that they launched. What they have done is basically launch an equivalent of Google search on your mobile phone. So wherever you are, whenever you need, you want, say, to find out, Italian restaurants near this place, wherever we are having convention, you could just say SMS Gyan, send it to 55444 and say, Italian restaurants near Mysore Road or whatever it is, and it, bang, it will come back with the responses. So you're not connected, you're not online, you're not having Google search, and all this you can do for 1 rupee. So just imagine, what they have created. It benefits the customers, and just look at the results. They are getting 2 to 3 million hits every month, and there are customers who are subscribing. They have a subscription service. So you take a 100 rupee plan or a 50 rupee plan, then you can do 1,000 SMS or 500 SMS Gyan, without paying any additional money. Now they're making money. Not only they're making money, the Bharti Airtel, they are making money on that, because every time you send it, they get money. So there's a revenue share. And now they're replicating the model with Vodafone, with Aircel, with Idea, with everybody else. Very successful, small company. They're not going out for funding. They are able to do this with self-funding. They're already profitable, and their growth rate is like 200% probably every quarter, and operating at 50% margin. I mean, phenomenal value proposition. So it actually has a positive impact all over. I mean, iPhone, iPod, I don't have to say that it's a classic. When iPod was brought in, Steve Jobs changed the way the consumers will consume music. And his value proposition was, here is the iPod, small thing that will go into your pocket, where you can store up to 1,000 songs, something of your choice. No longer you have to carry CDs and Walkman or Discman or a dongle and stuff like that. You can procure things online, download it, hear it wherever you want. You can store it, categorize it. Brilliant, product innovation. So those are, typically the value proposition has to be really strong, and that has to resonate with the customer. And I'm sure, you all do such interesting things, and it's a question of how you bring it out to the market. Yeah.
So to go back to look at what you just said in a slightly different context, you're saying your customers, your value proposition to your customer as a Fidelity customer is the ability to trust you. And you're saying your customer gets to save money and maybe improve an image by implementing iPhone. That's all very good. So customer value proposition is very clear, right? But what happens next? How do you convey that, and how do you implement that inside an organization? Because that's a big domain. What value proposition will trust me to somebody who's answering phones every night from 2 a.m.? How do you convey that?
So that's, let me, Ramana, go ahead. Yeah, I think that's a great question, Kishore, because you can put trust in a banner in the company. There's no company in this, anywhere I can come across who say that they don't believe in trust. Every company says that. Like every company talks about respect for the individual. Then they say that on the other hand, go and have the managers go and shout and holler at the associates. So it comes on to values and the culture of a company. And friends, it starts at the top. It starts by leaders. It starts with all of you in this room, by leading by example. And it's no different. Trust, for example, starts at home. And we just apply everything that we've taught by parents in the workplace. And it comes to the culture and values. In our company, for example, the value proposition, the expectation from the parent company of us in India is that everyone in the company follows ethical standards, follows the values by demonstrating it, and it's expected as me as a leader, my colleagues and leaders to lead by example.
Yeah, exactly. So I think this is one very, very critical aspect. In fact, we realized the hard way when we started the company we are not a known brand, and to fight against all the big IT majors, whether it was TCS or Infosys or Wipro of the world, it was just impossible, to get the right kind of talent. And we sort of went on a different path. Once we were very clear in terms of what we wanted to do in the business and how we wanted to deliver value to the customer, which I talked about in terms of delivering a modern core banking platform and stuff like that. We then really, took that story to the campus and to various, places where we wanted to hire people, and we said, hey, we are not in the game where we are just providing, good technical programming skills at a low cost to our customers. That's not what we do as a business. But we're going to create the next best, the world-class core banking solution sitting out here in India. We're going to create a product that's going to change the way banks will run the business worldwide. Now, do you want to be part of that kind of a journey where you're going to create an intellectual property that's going to become world number one? Now, that is something that actually created a buzz. Even in the campus when we used to go, there were other companies who were all there, to take the best talent, but we got some exceedingly brilliant talent from IITs, from regional engineering colleges, etc. Because they said that, hey, here is a company which is doing something very unique, which is different from all other companies. That was point number one. So we are not a body shop, we are not doing services. The second thing was that, as and when we started getting customers, things started becoming, well known. They would associate the success of the product, with their own development. The third aspect was our sharp focus in the banking and financial services domain. So right on day one, we said we're not going to do payroll on day one, the next day inventory and some ERP project and something else. We are going to be just focusing on banking and financial services domain. We thought we were taking a risk, but we wanted to be very clear. You won't believe, people say, hey, this is great, have an opportunity to specialize in some area rather than just doing hundreds of different things. But here I can, if I spend 5 years in the company, I can learn something of significant value. And these are a couple of things that really resonated with the employees. So we had a core team that sort of was there 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. We had, we used to have people serving 20, 25 years in the company, which is very unique for software companies. It's very difficult. Those are all the things apart from the ESOPs. Obviously, when we did IPO, a lot of our employees became very rich, and some of them retired. So that those all happened, and that has been a trend in the IT industry. So these are some of the things that I can think of. And very critical to hold on to people because they are the important asset, especially if you're developing software products. You need them.
Yeah, I can tell you from my own experience. I used to run a services company many years ago, and then I run a product company. It's much easier to recruit people. But that to me is a challenge. If you look at your own situation, right? You've got a brand that lives 7,000 miles away. You've got a bunch of services that you provide, not necessarily wrapped around a given product or a specialization. So how do you generate an interest, a value proposition in the employee in that kind of context?
Great question, Kishore. And yes, I think like many of the companies, we have the same, you can call it a challenge or you can call it an opportunity to retain talent. If you can give your associates a big security called employability, not lifelong employment, employability, which means that every